All right. What is going on, all you Holotable heroes? This is your boy Itachi, and this is Itachi Gaming, and we are back with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video for you guys. We're going to be talking about the dev Q&A for January that just came out on Friday of this previous week. I know we're a little behind the ball as far as everyone else is concerned, but that is okay. So in this video, we're going to talk about, they talk about Relic Abilities, they're going to talk about content for 2020, they're also going to talk about things like mods and mod cap, they're talking about the Galactic Legends event as well, and we're going to be covering all that today, and possibly more. So stay tuned right after this. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to start off with Relic Abilities. So they asked, when will we see Relic Abilities? Will it be available for all legendary characters? Top Hat responds with, Relic Abilities are currently on the back burner as we begin to do our more tactical planning for the next year or so. There are some opportunities we are thinking about pursuing first. When we pick them up and start working on them again, we will let you know. So this is fantastic to hear. Relics and Gear 13 was a big controversial thing of 2019. I'm glad the devs are taking a step back and giving us some time to really develop our rosters into Gear 13, into Relics and things of that nature. I think for individuals that have been playing this game for a long time, not as stringent for them to go to Gear 13 and the Relics, but for players like myself who are just breaching 2 million GP and things like that, relics are hard for us to actually go after right now. We've got so much other stuff that's going on in the game, trying to get all these legendary characters and things like that and gear them and get these teams together and farm for mods and things of that nature. We weren't as fortunate to be able to go in and just, let me pop in that last piece from Gear 12 Plus with those Gear 12 finishers. So for us, that was all a lot. We got Gear 13 1 month, and then a few months later, they introduced Relics. Exciting, yes, but the progression from last year, what they added for progression was a bit much. So I'm glad they're waiting and holding off on this. All right, they also talk about crystal income, and I think this is pretty big. They're asking is, will there be a shift, the entire focus from squad and fleet arena for crystal income? And Top Hat, they're basically saying no, they won't be. They're trying to explore what they want to do with this. Essentially, it seems like they don't really want to touch this. From what I'm reading here, do we switch it off? Do we not switch it off? And things like that for different levels, all levels. What is it going to actually be? Different tiers and things like that. So personally, I hope that they don't turn it off for fleet and squad arena. Granted, on my main account, I'm not doing that well in squad and fleet arena. Now, squad arena, I'm doing pretty good. I'm top 50. So I get a good amount of crystals from that. But if you look at my free-to-play account and you look at my Hyperdrive bundle account, I'm getting a lot of crystals from this, and this is a daily thing. And so this is really the main way of getting crystals right now. Hopefully they don't go to Grand Arena, because that's not as frequent. It's not an everyday payout thing for crystals. So we'll see what they do with this moving on. Now, a big thing they did, which I am going to give CG props for. Someone asked pretty much what were game highlights for 2019. What are some of the things that you think you missed the mark? What were some things that were highlights? And in 2020, is there something in particular you really want to nail? And so Viking answered this question. The top part talks about how this could be answered in several ways, blah blah blah. But they talk about how creatively they think they delivered great characters and ships in 2019, both in terms of their design, positive impact on the game, and artistic beauty, which I completely agree with. Malevolence is phenomenal. So is General Kenobi's, the Negotiator, and they've added a new level to Fleet Arena, which is really nice. Being able to get around Home 1 with that MILF fleet is nice to be able to do with these two ships, and just adding some diversity in fleets. It was fantastic. And then we got some really good characters. We got some reworks with Geonosians, we got reworks with clones, we got some reworks with Anakin Skywalker and Snips. So there's a lot of good things that happen there. General Grievous got 2 reworks, Magna Guard got a reworks, and so things like General Grievous became really powerful. And then you got Padme team, that was really powerful. Padme came out. We got 2 epic confrontations and Darth Revan this past year, so they did some cool things. Obviously there was lacking content in characters. There were also several positive and important technological improvements in 2019. Some of these we can't really see, but and they believe they did a fantastic job with both relics and the journey guide, which I think the journey guide was fantastic. Relics look really cool, but again, with the way that progression worked and how fast they did it, I just don't agree with personally. Now, something he says something I think we did not do well in 2019 was in the production of content. And they just flat out say we did not do a good job in giving content to the community in 2019, and they flat out say that will change in 2020. And in here they talk about how they're excited. They're essentially saying stay tuned. In addition to features, they're going to have an ocean of characters and ships planned, and they're super excited for 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, an ocean. Oceans are vast, they're huge, they're large, and this is what we need. We need an ocean of content for 2020 to make up for 2019. We had quite a bit in 2018. 2019 was very lacking in content outside of reskins, so super excited to see what they're going to be doing with that. All right, moving on from there, give me a minute, let me scroll down here. Something else that I thought was a big highlight, they talk about art. Let's get past that. All right, we go into the economy, and they're asking here, would CG upgrade or add a new tier for daily challenge with better prizes? And they said they would. However, they're starting with new assault battle tiers before looking into adding tiers to daily challenges. And I think this is pretty big, because those daily challenges are kind of old with the gear that they're giving. Not to say that that gear is not much needed, like Carbantes. Oh my goodness, Carbantes are needed all over the place, but there's so much more gear that has been added to the game and that is needed for character progression, and so having these being updated is going to be great. They don't know when. Obviously they're starting with the assault battle tiers first. And so it'll be interesting to see what they do there with the assault battle tiers first, and see what they're going to do as far as adding new things there. Another question here, when do you plan to update guild gear requests? I think this is big with the introduction of Gear 13 and relics and things like that. The gear landscape has dramatically changed since the introduction of guild gear requests in July 2016. So with this, Cyanide's answers, overall we want to expand the donation system to some extent. What this means and timing of it is still in the air. We need to do further research on what we can do with and without a client update. So I think this is huge because there is a lot of different gear. Going to Gear 13, I think things like Gear 12 pieces need to be added to that now. The amount of gear needs to be increased for purple gear pieces and things of that nature. And so they definitely got to relook at this as far as when they can do this. I think this is also needs to be something that happens sooner rather than later this year. I hope they tackle it quickly. All right. So going on into content, and I know this is something that we are all looking forward to, is content. It was such a lack of content in 2019. So 2020 we're very hopeful, and this post makes me just so so hopeful for 2020. Obviously, what they said is they're bringing an ocean in. So someone asked, this is a spoiler alert if you have not seen The Rise of Skywalker, but are we going to get General Poe Dameron? Top Hat says, yep, there's another Poe. He's coming to the game, and they will have more to say soon. So this is exciting. This was on Evo's and mine. Predictions for characters from the movie is a General Poe Dameron, and if you look at the new Resistance Finn, the characters that we currently have in Resistance do not fit his kit. So Poe Dameron's going to be big. I think the Galactic Legend Rey is going to be big for Finn as well. So look forward to seeing what Poe is going to be and what he can do. Has there been any work on a completely new game mode, something akin to a blitz mode, something playable daily that you can use your whole roster, scales with the team being used, with rewards going up a certain amount of wins and capping out after X amount of wins, but still playable after that for little to no rewards? I think this is a fantastic question, because one thing that we're missing in the game is a everyday playable content that we can do. Everything for the most part is all simmable, and in Marvel Strike Force, blitz mode is something you can do daily. It's like an arena, essentially like a practice for Grand Arena is what I would imagine this mode being, that has rewards to it, and I think that's big. And so Sven GG says, I'm glad to see your interest in this. We're working on new systems which should culminate in multiple new game modes. Key goals of the initiative include giving players something challenging to do every day in Galaxy of Heroes. It's too early to go into any details beyond the goals, and that we are approaching this from a fun foundational level rather than trying to just slap a new UI. I'm glad that he called this out too, on something you've already done. Territory Battles was essentially a new UI that they slapped on. So they are working on new game modes, and as soon as they can share details, they will. So as we continue to go on here, they talk about the Galactic War, and Sven again answers. It ties into the question we just spoke of, but they said they were thinking of a hard mode for Galactic War would be good, but they think they can do better. And so I'm very curious as to what they do that's going to be better. All right, let's get into down here. We're going to be talking about Galactic Legends, and I'm very, very excited about this because Galactic Legends, they've been sitting there. We know they're there. We know we're probably going to need Resistance and First Orders, the only two things that make sense for those two, but we haven't gotten any more information on them, and we don't get too much here in the Q&A, but there are some great answers in here and great questions that the community asked. So can we confirm if the Galactic versions are the final versions of each character? Being the last movie, it would be kind of a letdown if we didn't get Kylo and Rey as they are at the end of the movie. And Top Hat says, tricky to answer. I think the answer is cannot confirm. Now this is a little hopeful, but it could be bad, as you know, we may not get the final versions, because he goes on to say that the versions of Kylo and Rey that they have planned are not the versions from the end of the movie. So we're probably looking at Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and Jedi Rey. Okay, so those are the two things that we're going to see, probably, is what we're looking at, not the final versions. So we'll see what they do with those. And they go on. Someone asked, can we have some additional information with Galactic Legends events? Top Hat says they have a lot planned, information forthcoming. Their hope is to start the information rolling near the end of the month, fingers crossed. So that says a couple things. They're probably still working on the event and the kits to make sure that there aren't any bugs. They aren't too buggy for when they actually come out, and making sure that those kits don't create an infinite loop in something or something of that nature. So waiting to see what we're actually going to get, the kits and things like that. Hopefully we get that towards the end of the month, is what we're hoping. That's what Top Hat is saying that they're hoping to do. And then it says, how will the Galactic Legends characters compare to other teams in the game? Galactic Legends will feature, Viking answered, Galactic Legends will feature a new mechanic as well as a couple of other unique twists. They will be powerful and iconic. We have plans to start revealing details in the coming weeks, so stay tuned. So they're adding, looks like they're going to be very, very powerful. New mechanics, couple of unique twists to them, and they're going to be powerful and iconic. Now this also may also refer to how the event is going to be. Since they're going to be powerful and iconic, it could be very, very hard. So we may need gear 13, we may need just gear 12, we don't know. There may be certain power requirements for these tunes in order to unlock them. And then they asked, why is it taking so long for these new Kylo and Rey events? It was exciting when new characters come, but we've been looking at these characters in empty blocks for quite some time. Miller answers that they're trying something different with these two characters and announcing them ahead of time, giving us time to prepare and not necessarily panic farm when the event is announced. So again, he just reiterates that they have something, their plan is to have something to us before the end of the month in terms of what we'll be needing to unlock these Galactic Legends. So let's pop over to the account, ladies and gentlemen, because Galactic Legends, I feel, is going to be very huge for this game as far as the power is concerned. As obviously we got Galactic Legend Kylo Ren, and then you've got Galactic Legend Rey. So I think it's going to be Supreme Commander Kylo Ren. And then we're probably looking at Jedi Rey or Jedi Knight Rey, some type of Jedi Rey here that we're going to end up getting in the game. So Jedi Rey was very powerful in the movie. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Let's take a look real quick at the Resistance and at the First Order. We could probably go ahead and be safe to say that we're probably going to need everyone out of the First Order and out of the Resistance for the most part in order to complete these events. And so we've got General Hux and Sith Trooper. Those guys are new, and I don't believe CG is going to be going completely without being able to make money off this event. So I assume that when General Hux and Sith Trooper are going to become free to play farmable is probably what they're targeting to release these characters so they can get money off packs and things like that. Resistance, I think we're going to see the same thing with Poe and Resistance Hero Finn, same thing. We'll probably see packs for those guys, and you're gonna need, we already know we need Raid Jedi training, we already know we need crew, and those are the only two characters that are revealed that we know that we need. Do we need C-3PO? You know, he's got that Resistance tag, he's in the movies. Do we need R2-D2? Both of those are kind of pretty big in the movies for the last trilogy. BB-8, well, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's safe to say we're probably gonna need both Finns, we're probably gonna need both Poes, we're probably gonna need Holdo and Rose Tico, which I have yet to farm yet. And so this is gonna add on a new layer of farming for me, and I've got to really go back through and probably reassess where I'm going with farms, to be honest with you. Currently working on Ewoks for C-3PO, so that might check one box, but we've got a lot of farming to do. Alright guys, my friends, my name is Itachi and this was Itachi Gaming. I really hope you liked this video, and if you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to smash that subscription button, and don't forget to hit the little notification bell so you're not missing a thing. Until next time, my friends, we can go ahead and throw up and then deuces. Itachi out, y'all.